Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to tell you something kind of cool. This episode that you're about to hear has been the most downloaded episode in the entire history of this podcast. Out of over 100 episodes, this one about what makes a high converting website has been listened to more than others. And I've been thinking about why that is. I believe it's because everyone wants to know, is my website actually working? What's the difference between a website that just sits there looking pretty and one that actually brings in clients and makes money? So today I am replaying that episode, but before I do, I want to give you a quick 2026 update because while the fundamentals that I talk about in that original episode are still absolutely 100% true, some things have shifted slightly in how people use websites. And if you want your site to convert in 2026, you need to know what's changed. Here's what I loved about that original episode. The 6 elements that I talk about are still the foundation of every single high converting website I design today. Clean, intuitive design, easy navigation, compelling headlines and messaging, high quality content, mobile optimization, and fast load times. These fundamentals have not changed. A website still needs to be clear. I say clear over clever, easy to use, and fast. And human behavior hasn't shifted all that much. People still want to find what they need quickly and feel confident about taking action. So everything you're going to hear in that original episode, it still applies, it still matters, and it's still the baseline for any website that actually works. But here is what has changed. In 2026, mobile isn't just important, it's pretty much everything. When I recorded that original episode, I talked about mobile optimization being critical. But now, as I'm looking at the analytics for a lot of my clients, and a lot of my clients that are business to consumer facing, I am seeing sometimes well over 70% of traffic coming from mobile phones. And what this means for you is that mobile first isn't just a nice to have. Your website needs to be designed for phones first, desktop second. For me, I do desktop first, and then I do a completely different user experience for phones. But that's because I'm a professional website designer and I'm designing, and it really brings out the joy and the personality in the business. But for you, if you're doing your website, a DIY website, look at mobile first. It's important. And if something doesn't work perfectly on a phone, it doesn't work. It's broken. End of story. Mobile is super important. The second thing I want to share is that speed expectations have gotten a little bit more intense. I used to say you had 3 seconds to load your page. Now I think it's less. I think it's under 2 seconds. We are losing our attention spans at a high rate. And so if people come to your website and they don't immediately understand what you do and how you help them in 2 seconds or less, they're going to leave. Patience isn't there. This also means that you can't ignore the file image sizes that you have on your website. And if you have WordPress plugins, fancy features, everything that you have added, it slows your site down. Fast isn't just to impress, it's expected. The third thing is about AI and voice search and changing how people find you. More and more people are asking AI for recommendations or using voice search to find local businesses. That means your content needs to be written in a more conversational, natural way. You need to answer actual questions that people ask, not just stuff your keywords in the copy. And I think that's something that I have been talking about over the years. You want personality-packed copy, words on your website that are written for a human. But by writing for a human, you're also helping the AI assistants find information about your website. And then finally, the last comment I want to share is that video has gone from like a nice bonus to really required. Research shows that people stay on pages with video about 40% longer than pages without it. And when you have multiple videos on a page, that time can double or even triple. Video isn't just engagement. It's proven to keep your ideal clients on your site long enough to actually understand what you offer and make that emotional connection. So when you hear me talk about compelling messaging and high quality content in the original episode, include video to that mental checklist. And here's why I wanted to replay this episode as we head into 2026. These fundamentals, the 6 elements of a high converting website, are what separates successful websites from ones that just exist online doing nothing. I see small business owners all the time who are worried about the latest trends or the newest features or what their competitor just added to their site. And I always bring them back to the basics. Is your site fast? Is it easy to navigate? Does your homepage immediately tell people what you do and how you help? Is everything optimized for mobile? If the answer to any of those is no, then that could be your problem. Not the fact that you don't have the latest whatever it is. It could be that you don't have these key elements to a high converting website. Use this episode as your year end audit checklist. Go through each element and honestly assess where your website stands because headed into 2026, these fundamentals are your foundation and everything else is just decoration. So I'm going to let you enjoy the original episode now. And as you listen, think about your own website against each of these 6 elements. And remember, mobile first, speed matters more than ever, conversational content for AI, and video whenever possible. Those are your 2026 additions to these timeless fundamentals. Let's get into talking about what makes a website truly convert visitors into clients. Welcome to Website Design Made Simple, the podcast for busy small business owners who want a high-performing website that converts and sells their offers, even while they're sleeping. Because you deserve to have a strategic and beautiful website that truly represents your brand and positions you as the expert that you are. I'm your host, Jenny B, web designer and creative director at Jenny B Designs, where we believe that your website is the one thing that makes you sales and builds your brand at the same time. Ready to say goodbye to a website that you're embarrassed to share? And hello to a money-making, personality-packed powerhouse? Let's head into today's episode. What exactly is a high-converting website? In simple terms, a high-converting website is one that really is optimized to effectively achieve its goals, whether that be lead generation, sales, or another specific call to action, such as download a freebie. A high converting site guides visitors really smoothly towards targeted actions through compelling design, messaging, and that user experience. Essentially, it's speaking directly to your ideal client and convincing them to convert. Let's look at each of these important elements that transform that website into a really powerful place that is working for you 24/7, bringing in clients and making you money. The first is having a really clean and intuitive design. Your website is kind of like a well organized, chic little boutique. You know, the ones that you see that you go in that doesn't have a ton of clothes everywhere. It's very clean and simple. And a clean design is just like that. It's like that inviting storefront that beckons customers to come inside. It's not just about the aesthetics, it's about creating that atmosphere that people really feel comfortable and eager to explore more around your website. The second component is that it needs to have really easy navigation. This ensures that when someone comes to your website, they know exactly what to do and they're not clicking around and they're not confused. They should really be able to find what you're driving them to and the specific information that they're looking for without stumbling through tons of clicks and going down a navigation rabbit hole. So, clean design and easy navigation is really, really important. Third thing is having a compelling headline and messaging. And this is what I talk about all the time, the hero section. This is the part that is above the fold on your website when you first land on there. Your headline is that catchy opening line. You have such limited time. You know, we used to say 3 seconds or less. It's definitely less now. You need to catch your audience's attention and make them want to learn more and stick around. So that compelling headline and messaging is so important, especially for that hero section. Next up, we have really high quality content. Content isn't just the words on a screen. It's truly the heart and soul of your digital presence. Think of it as that warm welcome. When someone comes to your website, you want to have them feel as though they know you, they understand how you can help them and how you can make their lives better. High quality content not only attracts
those visitors and those ideal clients that you want to work with, but it also keeps them engaged. It's the reason that they come back for more. They find a lot of value and insight with every single click. And it's the reason why they continue clicking throughout your website and taking action. High quality content is very, very important for a website that is high converting. Next up is that your website is optimized for mobile. We all live in the world where everyone's got that little mini computer in their pocket. I love my iPhone. I cannot live without it. And your website really needs to be ready for that small screen. Truthfully, if you look at your analytics, find out how many people are actually coming to your website from a desktop or mobile. When I look for myself and for my clients, usually it's more from a mobile device versus a desktop. Mobile optimization, which means
I'm interrupting this episode to ask you a question. Is your website working as hard as you are? You've invested in a website, but if visitors aren't becoming paying clients, something's missing. My website audit is a professional review where I will analyze your site and identify exactly what's blocking conversions. You'll get a prioritized action plan with specific changes to turn more browsers into buyers. So stop guessing what's wrong and get some clear answers. Book your website audit today. The link is in the show notes. Now back to the episode.
that it looks good on all different size screens. For example, your phone, an iPad, a tablet device, and a desktop. It isn't just about checking off that box and saying my website is mobile optimized. It's really the ticket for meeting people on their own terms, wherever they are, whatever time they decide to visit your website, making sure that they are able to have a user experience that's cohesive and valuable. It's like going back to that storefront example. It's a storefront that can pop up on your customer's convenience. Whenever they want it, they can access it. A website that is optimized for mobile is also a super important piece of being a high converting website. And then there's the fast load times. This is really important because we are all busy. I talked about this earlier, that hero section when you land on someone's website. We have 3 seconds or less to capture that attention. And patience might be a virtue, but online, honestly, it's pretty rare. And waiting for a page to load is like standing in a slow moving line. It's not cool. It's a buzzkill. And sometimes you just want to get out of that line. And fast load times are exciting. And it's that path to keeping that audience engaged. Speed matters. And it can be the difference between someone clicking through to your services and contact page versus losing an opportunity because they can't just stand the wait. Fast load times contributes to a high converting website, and it's something that you need to keep an eye on. Now, these 6 elements aren't just website features and website nice to haves. They're truly the secret formula to turning those visitors into ideal clients and grabbing their attention, and are the elements that I consider a high converting website needs to have. I shared them with you and I'm going to recap them for you. A clean, intuitive design, easy navigation, that compelling headline and messaging, high quality content, optimizing for mobile, and fast load times, good speed. Now that we have those 6 items that I think are really important, I just want to share a little bit and focus on that strategic portion of that high converting website. It's not just about doing all these things, it's about making all of these elements work for you. The first thing that you want to think about is your website goal. For that high converting website, what is the goal of your website? You can think about your website as a superhero with a mission. And before it can make that mission happen, it needs to know what that mission is. Your website needs to have clear goals. So think about, what is your goal? A lot of times for service providers that I work with, the first step in their sales process is to have someone submit a consultation form scheduler, to book that call, to submit that inquiry. That's the first step in their process. Some clients that I work with, they have a membership. The first step in their process is to join that membership, become a member, buy that class, buy that product. Again, what is the overall goal of your website? This clarity and understanding really sets the stage for your website success. And then you're going to want to think about, how do you guide those visitors to those key pages where this action takes place, and ensuring that all the pages have calls to action. Take your visitors on that website guided tour, follow the path. I always like to say, leave no dead ends. At the bottom of every single page, there needs to be a call to action, a button taking them to the next place in their journey. Understanding that call to action and the strategic placements of these calls, that goes back to your website goal. And then, of course, for these high converting websites, you want to track what is happening, understanding your visitor journey, looking at those analytics, learning how people are entering your website. Where are they leaving? Why are they leaving on a certain page? And what can you do to make them stay on your website longer? Understanding how visitors are using your pages and then making changes. This all goes into what makes a high converting website, all these elements. Your website is a work in progress. It's always going to need to be upgraded and edited and changed. It's a living, breathing being. And you want to continually test what's working and see what's not working and tweak accordingly. It's just that recipe for success. You want to tweak it until it's working for you 24/7 behind the scenes. All of these components go into what I consider a high converting website. And I really wanted to take this first episode and share all of these things with you, because as we continue throughout the podcast, I'm going to be sharing ways to really dig deep into each of these elements and so many more, and share how you can update your current website to be more strategic, to be more converting, to capture more leads, and ultimately make you more money. In my opinion, that's the goal of your website. It needs to reflect your brand, your personality, your voice online, but also it needs to work for you and make you money.
So there you have it, the fundamentals of a high converting website with your 2026 reality check layered on top. If you're sitting there thinking about how your website might need some work, you've got two options. You can tackle this yourself using what you just learned, or you can book a website coaching call with me, and I will have a conversation with you and give you a custom roadmap for exactly what your website needs. You can find a link in the show notes to book a coaching call. And either way, don't let your website be the thing that is holding back your business in 2026. These fundamentals work. They really do. You just have to implement them. Thank you for listening, and I will talk to you next time. And that wraps up another episode of Website Design Made Simple. I hope you found the insights shared in this episode valuable and takes you one step closer to creating a website that attracts more of your ideal clients and builds your brand. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a minute to leave a review on Apple Podcasts or a rating on Spotify. Your review will help us reach more small business owners like you who are ready to make more money with their website. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.